My friend Shane Stinson was 24 years old and entered into the U.S. Army. He did it to make a better life for his family, to support his family, because he wanted to get an education and he wanted better for himself than he had already. On June 23rd of 2007, his Army brigade was opened fire upon. He was driving a tank. His other troops needed help. His friends, they were calling for help from inside. He got out of the tank, he went inside, and he was killed. He was shot in the head, and he was a very young life lost too soon. Having him come home in a body bag instead of the vibrant young man he was when he left was one of the most painful experiences I ever experienced. It wasn't himself anymore, and it was something that was life lost that didn't need to be lost. In this speech, I will argue that the troops need to be removed from Afghanistan and we need to stop the war. I will first talk about the loss of American life and how unnecessary it is at this point. Secondly, I will discuss the money that we're spending out there and the need that we have here instead of spending it in Afghanistan. And lastly, I will talk about how Al-Qaeda is no longer very present in Afghanistan in the first place, that they are now in Pakistan. So first, we have lost many, many lives that did not deserve to lose. And although I have so much respect for the patriotic acts that these young men and women have done for us, for our country, it's been enough. Just this last week, an Army Ranger died. He was from Laguna Niguel in Afghanistan. And, you know, it's, again, one more life is one too many. Each week we hear new stories about these people who served our country and now are gone. It's too much. Next, the money we're spending in Afghanistan is huge. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars every year to support a war that, you know, isn't really going much of anywhere. We've been there for a long time now, and the money that we're spending we could be using to improve our economy here, because we all know that America itself is in a pretty devastated state, and we could be working on the infrastructure and increasing jobs, spending the money elsewhere. It would be a lot more beneficial for us to have that money to be able to implement new programs and new things so that people can make better lives for themselves out here. Lastly, the terrorists that were in Afghanistan are no longer there. Al-Qaeda is mainly based in Pakistan now. And the few terrorists that are there now are so small in comparison to the amount of people that are in Pakistan. And with that, the hundreds of billions of dollars we spend every year there, we only spend about $3 billion in Pakistan. So the fact that we're spending all this money on a war that we fought for so many years and not really concentrating on where the real terrorism is coming from is a really big issue. You know, and we can't stop everyone. Bin Laden is dead. We should really work on protecting ourselves here at home. So in this speech, I talked about how many American lives have been lost and how this war, losing our young men and women, is more than we can afford to do at this point anyways. We discussed how much money is spent out of this country and in the Middle East to try and combat this war when we really do need this money at home here. We're in a crisis. We also discussed how how Al-Qaeda is no longer as present in Afghanistan as they are in Pakistan, and how maybe if we are going to continue a war, we should concentrate our efforts elsewhere. And lastly, you know, what happened to Shane could happen to any of us. We see fire trucks driving around Fullerton and they have soldiers' names on it. His name's on there, and we don't need any more devastation. And how this happened to Shane could be anyone's brother. It could be, you know, your father. You could be your boyfriend. It could be a lot of people, and I don't think any more lives lost is the right thing to do. Thank you.